The modern world sells men a lie, that loneliness is a disease, and partnership, no matter how hollow, is the cure. But what happens when a man realizes that the cure is often more toxic than the ailment? When he sees that the price of admission to modern romance is not love, but the slow erosion of his soul. Kierkegaard warned of the crowd's untruth, but today's untruth is subtler. The myth that a man's worth is measured by his ability to endure dysfunction, to perform gratitude for scraps of affection, to call chaos passion, and manipulation chemistry. A man who chooses solitude is not rejecting women. He is rejecting the script, the one where he's cast as the fixer, the wallet, the emotional landfill for unresolved trauma. He refuses to kneel at the altar of a culture that confuses need for love and control for intimacy. Nietzsche wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. And the tribe today demands men surrender their silence, their boundaries, their clarity to appease the gods of validation." Ask yourself, why do so many modern relationships feel like hostage negotiations? Why is a man's peace seen as selfishness, while a woman's unhappiness is framed as his moral failing? It's because we've conflated presence with ownership. A man who stays is praised, even if staying means shrinking. A man who leaves is villainized, even if leaving is the only way to preserve his sanity. Jung called this the shadow, the unspoken truth that what society labels love often masks a deeper fear of being alone. But the intelligent man knows solitude is not loneliness, it is liberation. When a man lives alone, he reclaims his time, his energy, his attention, the currencies of modern life most exploited in transactional relationships. He no longer begs for respect from someone who sees him as a project. He stops mistaking drama for depth, volatility for vitality. Schopenhauer, no stranger to misanthropy, wrote, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone." And in a world where being yourself is commodified into Instagram aesthetics and performative vulnerability, solitude becomes the last frontier of authenticity. Modern Western women, shaped by a culture that rewards victimhood and weaponizes therapy speak, often confuse communication with compliance. They demand vulnerability not to connect, but to conquer. Every disagreement becomes gaslighting. Every boundary becomes abuse. Every moment of silence becomes punishment. The intelligent man recognizes this dance. It is not love. It is war. A war where his sovereignty is the enemy, and his surrender is the only acceptable peace treaty. So he walks away. Not out of hatred, but out of reverence for his time, his purpose, his stillness. The data is clear. Men in unhappy marriages die younger. Their stress levels skyrocket. Their creativity dims. Their friendships wither. Yet society still peddles the fairy tale that a miserable relationship is nobler than a contented solitude. Why? Because a man alone cannot be controlled. A man alone does not buy diamonds to apologize for truths he never spoke. A man alone does not father children he'll only see on weekends. A man alone becomes a question mark to a world that profits from his answers. Kierkegaard's Night of Faith embraced the absurd, the incomprehensible. Today's night embraces the unbearable truth that many modern women, raised on a diet of romantic comedies and trauma-bonding TikTok, are incapable of love as he defines it. Not love as a verb, but love as a surrender to mutual growth, to unflinching accountability, to the daily choice to see beyond one's own wounds. A man who chooses solitude is not avoiding intimacy. He is demanding more of it. He knows that sharing a life with someone who uses emotions as collateral, who weaponizes sex, who views his success as communal property, but his struggles as personal failures, is not intimacy. It is colonization. Rilke wrote, "Love consists in this, two solitudes that protect, touch, and greet each other." But how many modern women can sit in solitude themselves? How many can face their own emptiness without demanding a man fill it? The tragedy is not that men are choosing to be alone. The tragedy is that so few women are willing to do the inner work required to make solitude obsolete. So the intelligent man builds his fortress. He dines with philosophers, wrestles with his shadows, and cultivates a garden of purpose no partner could ever threaten. He understands the risk. Society will call him bitter, afraid, emotionally stunted. But he's tasted the alternative, the slow death of his spirit in the name of compromise, and found it far more bitter. A manipulating woman doesn't fear a man's anger. She fears his indifference, his refusal to play the game, his ability to find joy in a sunset, a book, a silent morning, all without her. She labels him avoidant because she cannot admit she's expendable. She accuses him of emotional unavailability because her chaos starves without his fuel. But the man rooted in solitude, he sees through the theatrics. He knows that modern relationships often mirror capitalism, extractive, exhausting, designed to deplete him until he's hollow enough to accept any counterfeit version of love. The Stoics knew happiness is an inside job. Marcus Aurelius wrote his greatest meditations not in the arms of a lover, but in the solitude of war camps. A man who masters himself needs no audience, no referee, no hostage disguised as a partner. This isn't a manifesto against women. It's a clarion call for men to stop accepting crumbs and call it a feast. To realize that a lifetime of solitude is nobler than a single day spent negotiating his worth with someone who views him as a means to an end. The sun does not apologize for setting. The mountain does not beg to be worshipped. And the man who chooses solitude, he becomes the storm, the shelter, the unshakable truth that sometimes walking alone is the only way to remain whole. Let them call you selfish. Let them say you're afraid. You'll know the truth. You've chosen the roar of your own soul over the cacophony of their demands. And in that choice, you've become more man than they could ever understand.